crazy, a storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. We're here, guys. We're on the air. Emergency Management Associates is on the air. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina, guys. We're on the air working hard for you all today. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Guys, we have a few things we want to talk about today. We're going to get started right now. Okay? Now, I want to state this in the beginning. Okay? We came on the air twice this weekend. Why? Because there are things to talk about. We had earthquakes we're talking about because people's lives were possibly in danger. That's why we did it. We've always said we'd be on the air if anything happened day or night. We come on the air at unusual times, but primarily we're on the air Monday through Friday from between 4 and 5 p.m. to about 5 or 6:30 at the latest, usually at the latest. Today we're on the air just before 5 p.m., 5:45 this afternoon. Guys, this is Eastern time, by the way, okay? Now, if you guys will just give me a second, hold on a second. Carol? Carol? Guys, if you will just stand by with me for a second, I've got a couple of things I need to pick up from downstairs. I'll be right back. Don't go away, guys. Okay, we're back here with you tonight. Okay, I want to show you these things because I don't want to get much past Christmas before I show you what we got for Christmas from you guys. From you guys. Look at this. Carol and I each got a scarf and we got a cap. Look at this. Isn't that fun? When the weather finally gets cold enough, 2 weeks before Christmas, we had temperatures down in the teens. Now we have temperatures in the 40s today. We're supposed to be getting back into the 20s and 30s before the end of this week. Yes, we might be wearing these caps and scarves here before much longer. But I want to thank Trish and Rich Killian for sending these things to us. Besides that, we got something from over the pond. I want to thank Demon Catman and his girl for sending these things to us. Carol got a wonderful obsidian bracelet from them as well. But these are the things I got myself. I think Carol's put away her bracelet, but I want to show you this. This is snowflake obsidian. Snowflake obsidian. This is another larger piece of snowflake obsidian. Snowflakes occur in the obsidian lava because as the lava cools, it affects the lava and some parts of it turn to quartz. These small snowflakes are actually quartz in the lava. Okay. Again, this is another larger piece here. Isn't that beautiful? You can actually see the snowflakes in the rock. Okay. From this one here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I got this other piece of snowflake obsidian. Those other four were polished. This one is not. Okay. Now, besides that, we got another obelisk too. Now, I forgot to pick this up downstairs on our table. I've kept it on the dining room table because I like it down there. Last year, Demon Catman sent us this obsidian obelisk. I really love this. We got a smaller one about 3 inches high downstairs sitting on our dining room table. This one is on our desk here. I've had it on my desk ever since he sent it to us. This is another piece of snowflake obsidian here. Again, this one is not polished either. These are really cool. Demon Catman, we love those pieces of obsidian, and Carol loves her bracelet. She adores her bracelet. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, guys, I want to show you this because we're very impressed. These are hand crocheted. These are hand crocheted, guys. Carol has a little frilly thing here on the top. I don't remember what it's called, but Carol's has that, and I have this one here. Okay. So now you get to see me in my winter attire that you guys provided for us. We appreciate that. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Now, let's talk about earthquakes, okay? Like I said, I came on the air twice during the weekend because there were things to talk about, things that happened. Yes, we've had some earthquakes, okay? Yesterday, Crothersville, Missouri, we had this 2.29 earthquake, 2.30 earthquake. Crothersville, Missouri. Over in Tennessee, you see another earthquake there. That was a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake in Tennessee. Okay? Now, besides that, we came on the air to tell you about that 6.2 earthquake that happened off the coast of northern Peru. We also had another 4.9 here, 4.9 aftershock, just off the coast of northern Peru. Now, some people got this confused with what I said about what happened in Argentina. A day prior in Argentina, we had a 5.6 earthquake. Now, while the other earthquake here wasn't a deep earthquake, this earthquake here in Peru was only 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers, actually 11.2 kilometers deep, maybe 7 miles deep. Nonetheless, this was a shallow earthquake. But this in Argentina was not. This 5.6 earthquake in Argentina was 588 kilometers deep, 389 miles deep. Very deep earthquake. Now, let's go over here to the depth of magnitude conversion chart here. I keep this on our broadcast software so we can show it to you. Okay. Notice a 5.6 earthquake here in Argentina. We go over here to the depth of magnitude conversion chart here. I'm going to take down our banner. I'm going to take down our webcam for just a minute here. We go over to 588 kilometers deep. Okay. Down here at the bottom on this third column here. We have to add at 1.18 to the magnitude of that earthquake. We have to add an 1.18 to the magnitude of that 5.6 earthquake. Remember 1.18 here. Okay. So we add a 1.18 to this depth because it was a deep earthquake. Actually, not to the depth, to the magnitude of the earthquake. We add that 1.18, what do we have? 1.71 point, or 6.7, 6.8 earthquake. That means this earthquake here in Argentina will birth or propagate a lot or stronger, shallower quake. It's going to propagate a 6.8 to 7.0 earthquake. This earthquake in Argentina is going to propagate a 6.8 to 7.0 earthquake with between 3 to 10 days after this earthquake happened on Saturday. Okay. This happened in a relatively obscure area of Argentina in the Pampas, what they call farming fields, the Pampas. Okay. Fortunately for them, only 7 people felt this earthquake. 7 people. But that 6.8, 7.0 earthquake that's coming by tomorrow, probably by tomorrow at the earliest. 10 days would be next Sunday. Between tomorrow and Sunday, we're going to have another 6.8, 7.0 earthquake happen as a result of this earthquake in Argentina. This earthquake in Argentina that's coming is going to be a regional earthquake. Doesn't mean that earthquake is going to happen here in Argentina, but it could. It could. Let's go to the USGS map here. Just a second here. I'm showing here on the west coast of the U.S. I'm going to open it up to Argentina here. This is where the earthquake in Argentina happened. The 5.8 to 6, excuse me, that 6.8 to 7.0 earthquake is going to be a regional earthquake, meaning that 6.8 to 7.0 earthquake can happen anywhere from there in Argentina over here into Chile or up north to Bolivia or even Brazil. But it's going to happen. It will happen. They always do. Whenever we forecast an earthquake because of a depth of another earthquake, the forecast earthquake almost undoubtedly and indubitably happens. Okay? So someplace in this same region, we're going to get a very strong 6.8 to 7.0 major earthquake by tomorrow or at the latest by the end of the weekend, this coming weekend, January 3rd. Okay? It's going to happen. Now, after I forecast that earthquake, on Sunday we had a 5.0 earthquake here off of Peru. Since then, we've had a 4.5 aftershock. Some people thought this 5.0 was a forecast earthquake. It was not. But that earthquake is still going to happen here in South America. Now, I have advised everybody. Please put the word out. After that 5.6 earthquake happened in Argentina, that earthquake is going to propagate a much larger, stronger, and more shallow quake. Put the word out because we want to save lives here. If you know people here in Argentina, Brazil, Bolivia, or Chile, please pass the word on. Have them watch this channel. Please have them watch this channel. We'll talk about it. We want to make sure people are prepared for what's going to happen. A much larger, stronger, deeper quake here is going to wreak havoc on these people. Over in northern Peru here, 2 years ago, we had a 7.0 earthquake here. It wreaked havoc with these people in Peru. It'll destroy bridges. It will destroy roads. It will destroy houses. We've seen it happen before. It's going to happen again. We want to save lives. That's the whole purpose to our program. We want to save lives here. If you have missionaries in this region, put the word out to them as well, so they can be aware of it, so they can help protect themselves. Make sure they also have emergency preparedness kits, survival kits, medical kits, as well as prescription medications. Make sure they have this so they can survive what's going to happen. Please, guys, please pass the word on to everybody you know. Pass it on to your messenger. Pass it on to your Facebook associates. Pass it on to all of your associates you have on social media. Pass it on to the people you work with. As I said, the missionaries that might be in this area from your churches, pass it on. Members of your family and extended family as well. Pass this information on. It's important information. Tell them about Emergency Management Associates here on YouTube. We put out the information that nobody else has, nobody else is going to put out. That's important. That's vitally important for everybody's safety here. Now, I want to talk about a few other things while we got the USGS map out here. Okay, let's go over here to California. We are still expecting a large major earthquake here in Southern California. Most of all, out here on the east side of Los Angeles, out here in the northeast side of San Diego County. Over here north of Imperial County here, Southern California. The San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault is capable of a 6.5 to 7.5 earthquake. It's locked and loaded. It's locked and loaded. All the seismic energy coming from southern Mexico is headed north. All of the earthquakes down here in Mexico, they're not showing them here on the USGS map. I'll explain that more in a minute. There are 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 42 earthquakes. Yet USGS shows nothing. Not a one of them. 42 earthquakes here. The seismic energy from down here in southern Mexico is going north. It's going north via the San Andreas Fault right here. Going up into California, up into northern Mexico and up into southern California. At the same time, we have seismic energy running south also, down the San Andreas Fault. Southern California is locked and loaded. They don't ever talk about all the earthquakes here, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Here along the border region of the U.S. and Mexico, this is a 1.8 tremor here in Mexicali, on the north side, on the south side of California here. They show this on the north side of the border, but it's on the south side. This is the 1.8, 2.0 earthquake here. Mexicali is on the south and Calexico is on the north. But they aren't showing all the earthquakes here. Again, here in the Imperial Valley here, from north of the Salton Sea all the way down to the Mexican border. The Imperial Valley. The Imperial Valley here has 500 earthquakes a day. They're not showing them here. They never do. They never do. I'll discuss that fact in a few minutes. Yes, we're seeing some earthquakes here along the western side of the Imperial Valley here. This one is a 1.1 tremor here. They say this is 6 miles west-southwest the Salton Sea. Actually, Salton City here. Salton Sea is right here. This is Salton City. It's an extinct city. Salton City used to be very populous. They had RVs here. They had mobile homes here during the 50s and 60s. Very populated area. Since that time, the Salton Sea has become polluted. As a result, most of these people who lived here in Salton City moved away. The same thing happened over on the north side of the Salton City here. This is North Shore Salton Sea. There still is a population of people living here, but not as many as were. Going further to the south here, right here, Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach here used to be a resort area. Hundreds, if not several thousand people lived here in Bombay Beach. Now this is a ghost town, just as Salton City is. Ghost town. They're not showing all the earthquakes here as well. Guys, there are between 14 and 20 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes that happen here every day at Bombay Beach. Why are they not showing them? Why? Inquiring minds want to know. Down here on the southeast side of the Salton Sea is a town called Calipatria. Down here in Calipatria, guys, we have 75 to 150 earthquakes here in Calipatria area. They're not showing one earthquake here, not one. What's the problem with that? Further south here, this is called Westmoreland. Okay, here we had a seismograph here. The USGS turned it off. They turned it off. We no longer get any information from the Westmoreland seismograph. However, further south here, in the town of Imperial, here, right here, we have another seismograph here. Here we have anywhere from 25 to 50 earthquakes a day in the town of Imperial. That includes microquakes, tremors, minor earthquakes, and 3.0 earthquakes here, or even larger here in the town of Imperial. They have them every day. Further down here to the south, we have another town. It's called El Centro. El Centro has probably 100 earthquakes by itself. The town of El Centro has at least 100 plus earthquakes by itself. Why are they not showing them? I show these earthquakes on a frequent basis at least once a week. They're not showing any. None. Down here further to the southeast here, right here, this is a town called Holtville, California. Holtville, California also has a seismograph in a museum of sorts. It's called the Salton Sea Desert Research Station here in Holtville. They have between 75 and 100 earthquakes a day here in Holtville, in this area right here. Why are they not showing them? They should. They should. Here in San Diego County, they're not even showing all the earthquakes here either. None. Virtually none. Yes, right here in Lake Henshaw, northeast of Escondido. This is a 1.0 tremor here near Lake Henshaw. Interesting. I used to fish here. When I lived in Escondido, I used to fish here. This is a 1.0 tremor. Right next to it's another 0.2 microquake. Lake Henshaw, northeast of Escondido, California. As for the other earthquakes here, they're not showing them. Over here, Palomar Observatory, northeast San Diego County. They're showing this 0.6 microquake. That's interesting. Further to the northeast here in the Anza Gap, the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. Again, northeast San Diego County. This is the only places you're going to see earthquakes here because they don't want to talk about it. This is a 0.4 microquake in Borrego Springs. This is 0.5 microquake here in Anza, California. Out here to the east, this is also 0.5 on the San Jacinto Fault. San Jacinto Fault. Going north, San Bernardino County, Idlewild, California, 1.0 tremor. They're hardly showing anything here. Overall, between Los Angeles, San Bernardino County, and Orange County, there are over 400 earthquakes a day in this region. this region alone. What are they showing? Almost nothing. Almost nothing. Now, with the San Andreas Fault being locked and loaded, you would think that they would be showing earthquakes all over this region. They're not. This is a 1.0 tremor here in Anza-Briger Desert State Park, up here near the San Andreas Fault. Cabazon, 1.1 tremor here. We'll go further to the northwest here. Loma Linda, where the medical center is. 0.9, 1.0 tremor here. Just north, also on the San Jacinto Fault, a 0.8, also in northern Loma Linda County, California. Loma Linda, California. Let's go further to the north here. Fontana. Good old Fontana. Guys, what have we shown you here in Fontana in recent weeks? Multiple 3.0 large earthquakes here in Fontana, as well as minor earthquakes as well. Fontana is very active, yet USGS is only showing us a 1.0 tremor here. Wild. Totally wild. They don't want to advertise that we have earthquakes here. And this being right next to the San Andreas Fault here, and just east of there, the San Andreas, guys, this area is loaded with earthquakes. Loaded with earthquakes. Because the San Andreas Fault is moving. It's moving. Let's go down here into Los Angeles County. Corona, California, 1.3 tremor here. Right next to it's 1.8. Why are they only showing these earthquakes? There are hundreds more. Going north here. Charter Oak, California. Another 1.1 tremor. Interesting. Let's go over here to the northwest. Culver City, California, 1.4 tremor. Baldwin Hills, 2 miles southwest of Baldwin Hills. This is a 2.3 earthquake. 2.3 earthquake here. The Baldwin Hills. What do we know about the Baldwin Hills, guys? They say this is 2 miles southwest of Baldwin Hills. No, it's not. This is in the Baldwin Hills oil refinery region. The area here you see is the Baldwin Hills. Okay? Oil and gas pumping going on all over this area. Oil and gas pumping going on all over this area, guys. Yet they don't want to tell us that. 2.3 earthquake here. But they're still not showing us all the earthquakes. We can go over to Long Beach. I can show you earthquakes in Long Beach. I can show you earthquakes in Anaheim, California. Literally all over LA. But they don't want to show us all that. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid that they would tell us exactly what's going on. Now, offshore out here. This near Santa Rosa Island, California. Santa Rosa Island, California. Out in the ocean here. This is a 2.5 earthquake here. 2.5 earthquake, minor earthquake, off the coast. This happens to be 5.5 miles deep. 5.5 miles deep here. Southern California is ripe. Southern California is ripe for earthquakes. I want to go up to Northern California now. There's a reason. I go down here. This is San Bernardino, California. 1.6 tremor. Also right next to it, earthquake capital of California. They're not showing any earthquakes here today, but there are earthquakes. Unreal. Up here to the north, just southeast of Monterey Bay, 1.7 tremor here in Ridgemark, California, on the San Andreas Fault. Ridgemark, California, San Andreas Fault, 1.7 tremor. We can go north. Look here all over San Francisco Bay Area, San Jose area. They're hardly showing any earthquakes that are happening. There are earthquakes here. I promise you there are earthquakes here. West of San Francisco Bay here. Pacifica, guys, there's a golf course here. There are multi-million-dollar homes here in Pacifica, California. This is a 1.9 2.0 earthquake. We've had a number of 2.0 earthquakes here in Pacific, California in recent weeks. That's going to continue. Going over here to the east side of San Francisco Bay, between the Hayward and the Calaveras Fault. San Ramon, California. San Ramon, California is still hurting, having earthquakes. This red earthquake is indicative of an earthquake that just happened moments ago. This is a 1.6 tremor here in San Ramon, California. Just south of there, the Country Club area, 1.8 tremor. This is a 1.7 tremor here. This is a 2.2 minor earthquake. This is a 1.4 tremor here. North of that earthquake, that earthquake just happened, this is another 2.0 earthquake here, San Ramon. This is another 2.0 earthquake here in the San Ramon. Up here north San Ramon here, this is a 2.1 earthquake. Why are we having earthquakes here? Guys, this fault is getting ready to go. This fault is getting ready to go, guys. And yet the agency doesn't want to tell us that. They don't want to tell us that. All they're saying is we are having some microquakes, some tremors, and nothing else is going on. The Calaveras Fault, the Hayward Fault, are two of the most dangerous fault zones in the world. They're both here on the east side of San Francisco Bay. Millions of people live in this area. Millions of people live in this area. We are about to have a large earthquake here. Between the Hayward and the Calaveras Fault. Both of these faults are capable of a 6.5 to 7.0 earthquake. Storms are happening. All USGS is saying, oh, these storms happen occasionally. Nothing to worry about. Interesting. Very interesting. They know the swarms lead to large earthquakes most of the time. 99% of the time, they have large earthquakes as a result of swarms. We've had 4.5 earthquakes twice here in San Ramon in the past month. We are still seeing 2.0s, 2.2s, 2.5s, 2.7s, 3.0s, and a bunch of tremors here almost every day. Why am I harping about this? Again, I want people to be put on notice. Everybody needs to be prepared. USGS is calling me a crazy man. They call any of us crazy men that are talking about what we're doing here, why we're here talking about these earthquakes. USGS says nothing's going to happen. They say nothing's going to happen. I know something's going to happen. There is no doubt in my mind that I know what is going to happen here. Now, let's take down the USGS map for right now. I had a short conversation with USGS yesterday afternoon. USGS on Facebook has a Facebook page. They have numerous Facebook pages. This in particular was called the Cascade Volcano Observatory. The Cascade Volcano Observatory. Interesting enough. Linda coming in and in the chat saying she's feeling bad with lung congestion and coughing in bed. I'm so sorry about that, Linda. We're going to pray for you too. I hope that your pharmacy will get that prescription to you very soon. God bless you, Linda. We love you very much. Let me tell you what USGS said to us yesterday. This is almost appalling. They would have us to believe that nothing's going on. They want us to believe nothing's going on. Their post here on the USGS Cascade Volcano Observatory page said, summary, during the past week, small earthquakes were detected at Mount St. Helens and Mount Hood. All monitoring data are consistent with background levels of activity in the Cascade Mountain Range. Late last week, Cascade Volcano Observatory scientists replaced computers and updated the software that run the Rainier Lahar detection system. Yeah, they put in a new detection system back in 2023. At their offices are operated by emergency management partners. The Lahar detection system uses a combination system of tripwires, seismographs, and other monitoring equipment to detect any or very large Lahar mud flows may occur off the west side of Mount Rainier. The west side of Mount Rainier is seen here in this picture. Their Lahar detection system is designed to provide warning if a Lahar could hit populations downstream within minutes of their initiation. Now, I contacted them. They replied to me. My first comment to theirs was at the top of the comments. 81 different comments here. I said, there are plenty of earthquakes around Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Rainier, and other volcanoes around Washington, Oregon, and California. Usually they're not reported on because USGS does not necessarily put information out. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network also does not advertise or publicly put out information. Everyone needs to go over to the PNSN.org and look for the data yourselves. It is there. We have also been told there are no earthquakes in or around other locations around Washington, Oregon, or California. There are earthquakes. You just have to find the information. I broadcast the information Monday through Friday on the Emergency Management Associates here on YouTube. Come join us in on our channel. We'll give you the information. One of my friends named Leslie that occasionally hears on our chat, she asked USGS point blank, why do you guys go many days or even weeks without having any reports of earthquakes for the Mount Hood area? Leslie lives near Mount Hood. In fact, she says, I have seen the whole state of Oregon go without any earthquakes on the earthquake app. She uses the earthquake app for weeks on end. From what she can see, and most people I know says, you're leaving most earthquakes unreported, and she asks why. USGS reported back to Leslie. Not sure what you mean. This very post points out that small earthquakes occurred at Mount Hood in the past week. Small earthquakes there are pretty common, although not happening all the time. There is a swarm every year or two. Interesting. A swarm every year or two. The seismicity is caused by water interacting with pre-existing faults, both of which are abundant around Mount Hood. We report on all earthquakes. We report on all seismicity, but not only in our weekly updates like this one, but also on our earthquake maps. Really? On your earthquake maps? This person from USGS says they report on the earthquake maps that are online in several places. PNSN even has a Mount Hood specific page noting seismicity there. And they list the Mount Hood seismograph. Interesting. Leslie comes back and says, but I saw only 2 reported at Mount Hood this week. I'll start using your reports instead of the app I'm using. Although the app I use says it uses USGS, meaning USGS is not doing it. USGS is not reporting earthquakes. I didn't stop there. Now, USGS comes back to Leslie and says, correct, there were 2 earthquakes located at Mount Hood in the last week. Not sure what app you might be using, but you could also keep your eye on PNSN, the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. They are the group that maintains the equipment and locates earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. The page in our earlier reply allows you to look at seismicity over a time period in the last few decades. That's interesting. Leslie comes back and tells them, isn't magma somewhat involved under Mount Hood too? Magma has been rising worldwide in the recent years from the effects of the solar storms and its solar radiation. True. And these storms will continue. So it's also not surprising that the magma would be involved in a significant event that occurred along the Columbia River in the last week of August. People witnessed and captured footage of the Columbia River running backwards in parts. And for many miles, people witnessed that and similar upheavals in the Columbia River. It's also been confirmed that magma is moving under the Columbia River. And that is a part of what connects it to the Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, and Mount Rainier. Interesting. But USGS came back to Leslie and said, no, magma is not involved in Hood activity, not at Mount Rainier. Isn't that interesting? Have we not been showing you seismic activity at both of these volcanoes and at Mount St. Helens as well? And USGS is denying it. I've shown you the magma chamber seismograph At Mount Hood, I've shown you the HHN channel of the seismograph at Mount Hood. I've shown you the BDF-CC01 seismograph at Mount St. Helens. I've shown you the HHN channels of the seismographs at Mount Rainier. All of those seismographs showing you magma that's coming into the magma chamber of these volcanoes. Yet USGS is saying it doesn't exist. Magma is stagnant. Magma is not moving, not causing earthquakes, nor is magma rising. Those are their words. At Mount St. Helens, there is some, they say, this is coming from USGS, there is some limited evidence that the magma chamber is repressurizing in a very subtle way, based on pattern and style of seismicity. Interesting, because the seismographs that are recording the data are not showing subtle movements. But USGS said the subtle movements are not too surprising, given that Mount St. Helens is the most active volcano in the Cascades by far. It erupts about as often as other volcanoes combined. Interesting. Have we not shown you what's going on at Mount St. Helens? What's been going on at Mount Hood? What has been going on at Mount Rainier? USGS continues what they're saying here. In regards to the Columbia River, USGS says, quote, the Columbia River is not flowed backwards, and we're not aware of any credible videos if that were a true thing. It would be all over the local news and websites, given that it would be a major news story. Of course, there are hundreds of thousands of people that live along the river's length. There is also no evidence that solar flare activity is associated with volcanism. That's in complete contradiction to other agencies. The solar flares are having effect on earthquakes. The solar flares are having effect on magma rising in the volcanoes. Okay? Then they said here, we see a lot of clickbait sites spreading rumors that, for example, more volcanoes are more active now than ever. But that's not true. USGS goes on to say there are always 40 to 50 volcanoes erupting at any given time. But most don't get any media attention. So when there is some coverage in the news, it can seem like more of a change. More like the rate of volcanic activity over time can be found at the Smithsonian's Global Volcanism Program. The Smithsonian's Global Information Program. Global Volcanism Program. The idea that solar flares and volcanism are connected to generally from data that are cherry-picked. Really? Cherry-picked data. For example, we've seen claims that Mount Etna erupted yesterday because there was a solar flare a couple days ago. But this ignores the fact that Mount Etna is one of the most active volcanoes in the world, and it is frequently erupting. The same is true for earthquake claims we've seen online, for example, that a 6.5 magnitude earthquake was caused by a solar flare. Again, USGS is denying activity. On average, there is a 6 magnitude plus earthquake every few days someplace on Earth. So it's not surprising there would be an earthquake at the time of the solar flare. Interesting. But they're still denying the evidence that it happened because of the solar flare. Then Leslie comes back at USGS. The upheaval of the Columbia River was on the local news back in August when the event occurred. I have that video and others if you would allow videos to be posted. I think hundreds, maybe thousands of people did witness it, which is how it made local evening news. But Maybe there were other stations that reported it too. We all know by now that financially liberals widely control the media and what the world sees. And I don't know that I would even trust the Smithsonian. They were crooks around a century ago, stealing and hiding historical evidence the public entrusted to them. Yes, solar storms do not have the power to cause seismic events. That's what they're saying. But they do have enough power to contribute to triggering these events that are imminent to happen. True. We also know that the history of the New Madrid seismic zone events of the 1800s had the Mississippi River running backwards in a much larger scale. And USGS is going to explain this in a minute. So why can't it happen on a smaller scale given the two seismic giants and the axial seamount and the Cascade subduction zone within the close proximity of the Columbia River event in August 2025? This is what the USGS says about that. The Mississippi River flowing backwards during the New Madrid event was following a series of magnitude 8 earthquakes. Previously, they were saying they were 7.1 earthquakes. Now they are realistically saying those earthquakes back in the 1800s were 8 plus magnitude earthquakes that created the conditions for the Mississippi River flow backwards. No such event occurred in August along the Columbia River. Here's USGS again denying it happened. They said there were no strong earthquakes at that time, which is correct. There were no strong earthquakes to occur, but why did it happen? USGS is denying it, but the television networks in and around Seattle, Tacoma, and also Portland recorded the information. They recorded the Columbia River flowing backwards. USGS is denying it. They're saying there were no earthquakes that could possibly cause it, and the axial seamount is 300 miles offshore and did not erupt. And eruptions are minor, don't cause impacts. It last erupted in 1998, 2011, and 2015. We found an online video making the flowing backward. I'm sorry, let me say that again. We found this is USGS saying, we found an online video making the flowing backward claim about the Columbia in 2025 this year. But it is from a channel that routinely posts outright false information. Interesting. The USGS is saying they deny it. Leslie comes back and says, oh, thank you, but I'm not impressed with your common sense. Plus, did you pretend not to know about the August event of 2025 news coverage? They said they didn't know it. They said it didn't happen. USGS came back and talked to her again. We live and work along the Columbia River. Isn't that interesting? They work and live along the Columbia River, but it didn't happen. Leslie comes back and says, maybe it was too hot that day to go outside. I don't know. It only lasted a few hours. A group could work right there and easily miss it. Maybe you guys like to work incognito. Maybe you guys like to live incognito. One could prove that the Columbia River and the August event of 2025 happened. Just with eyewitnesses there, that would be proof, right? USGS comes back to Leslie. Yes, there would be proof. Exactly our point. There was proof. USGS denied the proof. Then I came back and addressed USGS. To USGS, I said, You're not sure what she means, are you? Yes, you do know what she means. Stop hiding behind foolish statements like that. Be honest for once. USGS came back at me. Ron Tyler, we're always honest. And we're happy to be held accountable for everything we say and do. That's interesting. Leslie comes back at USGS. Well, no one has attempted to ask the eyewitnesses to my point. Okay then, just right now, that you don't keep track and report all earthquakes. Do you guys not occasionally turn off some of the seismographs? Get this what the USGS told Leslie. Remember, I've shown you seismographs have been turned off. USGS told Leslie here, no, we do not turn off seismographs, but both we and PNSN report on all earthquakes that can be located. Really? They report on all earthquakes that can be located? What a farce. I replied back to USGS, bull. I personally have seen those seismographs being turned off. I monitor them several times every day. If you report on all earthquakes, why are they not listed on the national international maps? Why do we find earthquakes being reported, for example, here in the US and other places by other agencies, not by the USGS? USGS did not have an answer. USGS did not answer me. Leslie comes back, USGS. So my reason for having such a bad attitude here is that you all at USGS are not being honest with the public. I also live pretty close to Mount Hood. Then there was a man that reported back to Leslie. I think they were politely stating to you or trying to tell you that you are confused or you don't know what you're talking about. Really? Really? Leslie does know what she's talking about. She lives right beside Mount Hood. She watched the Columbia River. She watched the river footage by the news media. She watched the footage by people that record the information about the Columbia River. They saw the river flowing backwards. USGS denies it. USGS also denies that there's no magma chamber living or running beneath the Columbia River, and there is. We've proven it. We've proven it. You can go over and see what USGS told Leslie and I on the Facebook page, USGS Cascade Volcanoes page. Okay? USGS Cascade Volcanoes Observatory page on Facebook. One of our own friends here on Emergency Management Associates, his name is, doggone, his real name is Daryl. He's a very dear friend of mine. Brokefish N. He goes by Brokefish N here on our chat. You've seen his post before. He also posted against USPS here. USGS doesn't like to be challenged. USGS denies the activity that they're not reporting. They deny the activity that all the other agencies are reporting here in the US and other places. USGS says that they report all the information they can get. Interesting, but they don't. They don't tell us the truth. You can never find the information about the USGS showing these earthquakes. They're not showing earthquakes in Los Angeles, as I just showed you. They're not showing you all the earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest tonight either. Not doing it. Why not? Why not? They should be. They should be. Now, somebody else went on to ask USBS about Mount Baker. Interesting. They asked what is happening with Mount Baker these days. USGS came back to that comment. Very little. That volcano is seismically very quiet. There may be only 1 or 2 earthquakes that happen at the volcano per year. Interesting. But there is often a steam plume at Sherman Crater, which on some days is very visible depending on atmospheric conditions. There hasn't been much activity at Mount Baker since 1975. They had a thermal event. That's interesting. I challenge USGS on that statement. I said, everyone, there is plenty of information about Mount Baker. Go to pnsn.org. Look at the seismograph MBW2. MBW2 is the PNSN's designation for the seismograph that records information about Mount Baker. Also look at the Shuxan seismograph. The Shuxan, SHUKSAN seismograph. Shuxan especially shows activity. The Shuxan HHN channel. Remember this? I just told you about HHN channels at the other volcanoes. The Shuxan Baker volcano HHN channel shows the VLF waves caused by magma entering the magma chamber. A lot of that activity people don't see. I've shown you that HHN channel at Mount Baker before. Mount Baker is very active. Mount Baker, Glacier Peak, even though most of the time USGS denies anything's going on at Mount Glacier Peak either. But Mount Rainier, Mount St. Helens, Mount Hood, Moon Mountain, which used to be called Bachelor, Newberry Volcano, Sisters Volcano, and also Crater Lake to the south, South Central Oregon. Remember Crater Lake? It's a alpine lake volcano. Alpine lake volcano. They shut down, USGS shut down the CLCV, Crater Lake Cleetwood Cove. They shut that seismograph down earlier this year. They also shut down Mount Scott on the southeast side of Crater Lake. Shut it down. Occasionally they will turn that back on, but they have not turned Cleetwood Cove back on. Cleetwood Cove is on the northeast side of Crater Lake. They turned it off. They have not turned it back on. Occasionally you will see occasionally you see Mount Baker being turned on, but the only seismograph that's still active at Crater Lake on the south central part of Crater Lake is Crater Lake Bunkhouse. And there is hardly any activity being shown on the seismograph. Why? Because they don't want the information coming out. I believe that's why they shut down Cleetwood Cove. I believe that's why they shut down Mount Scott. The other seismograph is on the summit of Crater Lake, Wizard Lake. The Wizard Lake seismograph is at the summit of Crater Lake. It's an island. The seismograph itself is exposed to the weather. So as a result, it's not that, shall I say, reliable. Because the seismograph is exposed to the weather. Thunderstorms, snow, heavy rain can affect the seismograph. So that side graph is not reliable. But the other side graphs around Crater Lake are and have been. But they shut down the other two that showed actual events. And down on the central part of Crater Lake bunkhouse, they're hardly showing activity. There is activity all over the Cascade Mountains. Activity as far south as Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta to the south, Northern California. Remember, Shasta and Mount Lassen are also part of the Cascade Mountain volcanoes. Don't forget that. Both of those volcanoes are active, and both those volcanoes are showing activity. USGS would deny it. USGS has also shut down other side graphs all around those volcanoes. Typically, a volcano in the Cascade Mountain Range has anywhere from 8 to 11 side graphs surrounding the mountain, except for Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak has only one side graph recording information, and also Citrus Volcano. Citrus Volcano is a complex of 3 volcanoes. There's only one side graph recording activity at all 3 volcanoes, which is stupid. The side graph at Citrus Volcano can only record activity at the one volcano, but there's 3 volcanoes there. Okay. Kitty Haven is asking a good question. I'm going to pass this on to President Trump. Why doesn't current administration give USGS an overhaul? They need to. USGS needs to be overhauled. They need to be slapped upside the head. But the problem is also not just USGS. The politicians have a great deal with what's going on at USGS. The politicians are telling everyone at the agency, don't tell people what's going on. Don't be honest with them. Hide information. Because in doing so, the USGS is preventing information leaking down to the public. If the public knew what was really going on, they'd move away from the shorelines. They'd move away from the volcanoes. Why? I don't think you would like to be anywhere near a volcano when it erupts. I don't think you would want to be near the shoreline of Washington, Oregon, or California when the Cascadia megathrust earthquake happens. If you lived along the shoreline of Washington, Oregon, California, you would move away if you could. Those people are not being told information. Adam Marfugel, has a channel here on YouTube. Several years ago, he made a statement. He went to the shoreline of Washington State, Ocean Shores, Washington. He went there. He talked to the citizens there. He talked to police. He also talked to fire department personnel at Ocean Shores. What did he find out? He was told by the police and fire department of the people in Ocean Shores they didn't know anything about it. They knew nothing about the Cascade megathrust earthquake. Nothing. Not a thing. That's interesting. They're not being told. If you lived in Ocean Shores, if you lived over at Gerhardt, Oregon, which is seashore, Oregon. If you lived anywhere near here, I have a friend in Oregon living on the shoreline. What did I say was going to happen with the shoreline after the Cascade earthquake happened? What have I said? What have I said? If the earthquake doesn't take out the area, the subsequent tsunami will. The subsequent tsunami will take it out. Anyone living within 5 miles or more of the shoreline will be inundated by the tsunami. Anyone living within 5 miles of the shoreline or more will be inundated by the tsunami. Fact. Very few people know what's going on. Now, the politicians want to keep their jobs. So they're telling the agencies, don't talk about it. Don't leak out the information. Because if they leak it out, people are going to move away from the shoreline, the towns, the cities. If that happens, the stores and other places there that sell goods, restaurants, they're not going to be having people coming in to support them. They're going to close as well. So if nobody lives in that area, or very few people live in that area that are left, where is the counties and the cities going to get tax money to keep the lights on, to keep the roads repaired? Not going to happen. Not going to happen. If the city is not getting money, if the counties are not getting money, who's going to pay the politicians? That's why the politicians are behind this. Politicians are telling the agency don't report anything unless you absolutely have to. That's why this is happening. It's up to each one of you to get this word out. We can report on this all day long, which I do on a regular basis, every day. It's up to you guys to get this information out for me and with me. Pass along. Pass along your family, your extended family, your neighbors, your friends, your social media contacts, and also the people you work with. Pass this information on, guys. Invite people to watch this channel. Invite people to watch this channel. It's obvious to me that the algorithm here on YouTube is not allowing people to see our program. By the way, we have lost several subscribers because YouTube is taking subscribers off our channel. So everyone, if you are still here, check and make sure you're still subscribed to our channel. If you're not, please subscribe to our channel, resubscribe. When you subscribe to our channel, there's a little bell icon. Click on the little bell icon. When you click on the little bell icon, there'll be a drop-down menu of 3 items come up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. 2 things. Subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified when we come on, and also click on that notification bell so you'll know when we come on as well. Otherwise, you're not going to know about us. YouTube continues to unsubscribe people. I've caught them. I catch them almost on a weekly basis, unsubscribing people. My buddy Don Potoko, who's one of our mods on this channel, keeps getting unsubscribed. Rob52 keeps getting unsubscribed almost every other day. Also moderator on our channel. I talked to him last night. They unsubscribed him on Saturday. His wife told him about our program, our short program that we did Saturday evening, and he saw that. He checked his subscription, and he had been again unsubscribed. Happens all the time. So folks, please check your subscriptions on an ongoing basis. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Make sure you hit that little bell icon so you're notified when we come on the channel. But not USGS, I'm sorry. This is YouTube. YouTube does not always notify anybody anyway. Again, that's why we tell you we will be on between 4 and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. And then we will come back on the air at night, early in the morning, whenever it is, whenever a situation happens that we think you guys need to be made aware of it, we'll be back on there and tell you about it. We always are. We always have been. Okay? Cassandra Goss said, I just joined your channel. I appreciate that, Cassandra. Appreciate it. She also joined Rich Quake. By the way, Rich Quake also has a YouTube channel here as well. So please join his channel as well. Trish Killing says her and her husband used to celebrate their anniversaries at Ocean Shores, Washington. Quite a little spot. Yes, it is. I've seen pictures. I haven't been there. Ocean Shores is a nice place. Now, guys, things are still happening around the globe. Earthquakes still happen. We've had some small and minor earthquakes. We've had some 4.0, 4.9 earthquakes down in the South Pacific around Tonga and Fiji. We've had some aftershocks from the 6.2 earthquake off of Peru. We've had some aftershocks over in Argentina from that 5.6 that happened. Remember, that was a deep quake. That's why only a handful of people even felt the earthquake. But when we have earthquakes near the surface, that's when we have a lot of people feel these earthquakes. That 6.2 earthquake off of Peru the other day, guess what? 363 people felt that earthquake. It was offshore, but it was close to the surface. That's why people felt that earthquake. When it's very deep, many people don't feel earthquakes. If they do, they only feel a light bit of shaking. Anything 5.0 earthquakes and larger are very dangerous. They can cause a lot of damage and they can even cause death. Remember that. Remember that. There is a lot of stuff going on, guys. A lot. Do we have any questions about anything going on? Anybody have any questions that I can answer for you? Any questions? Rich says he almost always gets notifications for our channel. Thank you. I appreciate knowing that, Rich. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Rich is saying there's small earthquakes happening around Java, Indonesia as well. 3.0, 2.5 earthquakes. There's also a few 4.5, 4.7 earthquakes around Java and also over in Sumatra, Indonesia. All over there. Sulawesi, Indonesia, over east of Java as well. Earthquakes all over the place. Any questions? Any questions? Kitty Haven is asking, is there anything significant on the East Coast? I'm going to tell you this. Georgia's having 2.2, 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. They're also having around the capital of Georgia. They're having some 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes as well, caused because those earthquakes are on the east side of the United States, eastern craton, which is called the Continental Divide. And earthquakes on the Continental Divide. The same thing here in North Carolina. 2.5 and 3.0 earthquakes happening in what do they call it? There's two cities here. Gosh. Hold on a second, I'll tell you what it is. Just a second here. Blacksburg, South Carolina, had a 3.0 earlier this morning at approximately 10:41 a.m. this morning, 3.0 in Blacksburg, South Carolina, which is also a volcano. Blacksburg, South Carolina is a volcano. Martinsburg, West Virginia, also had two 3.0 earthquakes early this morning. About 7:22 this morning, two 3.0 earthquakes in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Let's see here. Hold on a second here. Tipton, Georgia. Minor tremors all around Tipton, Georgia as well, all morning long. All afternoon as well. Let's keep going here. King, North Carolina. Tremors in King, North Carolina as well. Sandy Mush, North Carolina. Let's check this. We had some minor tremors and minor earthquakes. We had some 1.0 to 1.8, 2.0 earthquakes around Sandy Mush, Sandy S-A-N-D-Y, Mush, M-U-S-H, North Carolina. Taylorsville, North Carolina. We've had some tremors, but they turned off the seismograph this morning at Taylorsville, North Carolina. The seismograph usually runs from midnight to noon, and then again from noon all afternoon. But they turned off the seismograph early this morning at midnight, and they did not turn it on again until 10:30 this morning. All they showed there are tremors this morning in Taylorsville, North Carolina. Taylorsville is about 45 miles north of me. Also this afternoon, the seismograph is running. All it shows here are tremors here in Taylorsville, North Carolina. Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Tremors going from 1.0 all the way up to 1.8. Tremors here in North Carolina, in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Roper, North Carolina. That was one of the cities I was trying to remember the name. All we have this morning here in Roper, North Carolina, are a bunch of tremors. 1.2 to 1.8 tremors here in Roper, North Carolina this morning. Let's check this afternoon. The same thing this afternoon. Nothing but tremors. Murphy, North Carolina. Murphy, North Carolina is closer to me. Tremors this morning, nothing more than that this morning. In Murphy this afternoon, we had some tremors and 2.0 earthquake here in Murphy, North Carolina this afternoon. Going over here to Calhoun, Georgia. Calhoun, Georgia. From midnight until 9:30 this morning, they turned off the seismograph. They turned it back on at 9:30, And at 9:40, we had a 3.0 earthquake, 3.2 earthquake, 3.2 earthquake in Calhoun, Georgia. We had another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake just after 11:46 this morning. 11:46 this morning, I want to say 2.8, 2.9 earthquake this morning. That was in Calhoun, Georgia. This afternoon, we had another 2.8 earthquake at approximately 12:21 this afternoon, another 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, nothing but tremors after that here in Calhoun, Georgia. Roland, North Carolina is the other one I want to talk about. Roland, North Carolina, we had a 3.0 earthquake here this morning after 7:56 this morning. This looks to be a 3.3, 3.4 earthquake here, 7:56 this morning here in Roland, North Carolina. Okay. At 8:02 this morning, an 8.7, excuse me, not 8.7, sorry, a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake hit at 8:02 this morning here in Roland, North Carolina. Again, after 10 a.m. this morning, actually before that. 9:59 this morning, we had another 3.0 earthquake here in Roland, North Carolina. Roland, North Carolina is northeast shore of North Carolina. Roland, North Carolina. 2 3.0 earthquakes here this morning. After 10:03, almost 10:04 this morning, we had another 2.6, 2.7 here in Roland, North Carolina. A lot of earthquakes here this morning, Roland, North Carolina. Let's look at this afternoon. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm going to put this on my database. I'm going to show it to you here in just a minute. There were earthquakes here in Roland, North Carolina this afternoon. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. Wait till you see this. I know for a fact we have earthquakes here in North Carolina because we've talked about them before. We've talked about other earthquakes here as well. Let's go over here and show you the one that happened this afternoon. We'll have actually several earthquakes here in North Carolina this afternoon. Wait till you see this. Look at this. This is what's going on. The top line here is 12 noon on the left-hand side. So we go across 1, 2, 3, 12:03 this afternoon. 12:03 this afternoon, we had a 3.0 earthquake. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes back to back. When you see the earthquake signatures like this back to back, the earthquake continued to roll for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds, 3.0 earthquakes. Prior to that, we had some tremors and 2 2.0 earthquakes. 2 2.0 earthquakes. 1 2.0 happened at 12:02. Another one just after, no, I'm sorry, that was at 12:17. 12:17 at 2.0. Another 2.0 happened at approximately 12:03 this afternoon before the 3.0 hit. After that, 1 o'clock on the next line on the left-hand side on the black line. The second black line from the top, 1 p.m. on the left. You see tremors and minor earthquakes happen here. Then we drop down to 3 p.m. 3 p.m. over here on the left, over here on the right. 3:11 p.m. this afternoon, we had a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. After that, we had some more minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.1 earthquakes there. Then on the red line just below that, that's 3:15. Just after 3:15, you see a lot of tremors here. After 4:30 this afternoon, over here on the left-hand side would be 4:30 in the blue line. Over here to the right, that's 4:41 this afternoon. Another 2.0, 2.3 earthquake. Notice that earthquake didn't stop. Okay? It started with tremors, then we had 2.2, 2.3 earthquake, then it continued. We had tremors after the earthquake. Tremors and minor earthquakes are not being felt. Can't be, they're too small. Then again, after 5 p.m. this afternoon, more tremors and another earthquake there. I'm going to count over minutes here so I can tell you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5:08 p.m. this afternoon. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake there. Rolling North Carolina, guys. Rolling North Carolina. This is big time. That's big time, guys. I know for a fact this happens. We felt some earthquakes here. Sometimes when they have earthquakes along the shoreline like this one, we feel tremor activity here where I live. That's because we're back away west of the earthquake. We only feel tremors from those earthquakes here. But it's happening. It's happening. Let me check some other places here as well. Lilburn, Georgia. Tremors. Lilburn, Georgia is near Sumter, North Carolina. Sumter, North Carolina, we typically see earthquakes there. Let's go over here to Sumter. No earthquake, just tiny tremors in Sumter, North Carolina as well. That's interesting because usually we see over here in Sumter, we see regular earthquakes, nothing but tremors. Go to Scranton, South Carolina. Nothing but tremors here in Scranton, South Carolina either. All day long. Let's drop over Waverly Hall, Georgia, nothing. They turned off the seismographs at Waverly Hall. Montrose, Georgia. Nothing but tremors here this morning. Montrose, Georgia this afternoon. We had some tremors and minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes today after 5:23 p.m. this afternoon, 2.5, 2.6. And then after 6 p.m. this afternoon, Eastern Time, we had a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Montrose, Georgia, Eastern Time. That just happened, by the way. Okay, the other place I was going to tell you about is Savannah, Georgia. Savannah, Georgia today. We had 2 3.0 earthquakes today. Savannah, Georgia. One happened after 10:33 this morning. 10:33 this morning, Savannah, Georgia had a 3.0 earthquake. Then again, after 11:39 this morning, another 3.0 earthquake in Savannah, Georgia. Let's check this afternoon. This afternoon, we have dozens of minor earthquakes. 2.0 and 2.7 earthquakes here. Savannah, Georgia, all afternoon long. Okay? That's what happened. Rich Quake is talking about a 0.2 microquake near Cobb, California. Cobb, California is where we have the geysers facility. The geysers facility is where we have the geothermal facility. Let's bring that up for you on the USGS map. Dozens of earthquakes happen at the USGS, or not on. Dozens of earthquakes can be shown on the USGS map at the geysers facility. Right there. This is what ridge quake is talking about. This earthquake to the northeast here, to the northwest, this is Cloverdale, California, a 2.0 earthquake. The geysers facility is usually where this is, right in this area to the southeast. This is a 1.1 tremor here. This is 8 miles east-northeast of Cloverdale. That's interesting. This other earthquake was a 2.04 miles north-northeast of Cloverdale. This is east-northeast of Cloverdale. USGS doesn't know what they're talking about. There's no possibility that this earthquake here is a 1.1 tremor east-northeast of Cloverdale. It would have to be south-southeast of Cloverdale. USGS cannot even keep track of where the earthquakes are. Why are we getting earthquakes here in this facility? We have to look to the north. This is Clear Lake. Clear Lake is actually a volcano. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to obtain steam to power turbines here in the geysers facility. That's why we have earthquakes here. Okay? The seismic energy comes off of the Pacific plate over here to the North American plate. It comes over here to the man-made earthquake faults. All these drill points are man-made earthquake faults. Drill points into the upper magma chambers of the volcano. Let me zoom in here. Right here, for example. This is a 0.2 tremor. This is near Cobb, California. Supposedly near Cobb, California. Let's zoom in here. Okay, right here. See this area right here? This is a drill point. Multiple drill points here where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the volcano. Over here, the drill points coming out of the ground. They have PVC pipe carrying the hot steam over to processing facilities. Carrying the hot steam to the processing facilities. Right here. See this black area here? These are huge, huge boilers. Turbines. Turbines, guys. Turbines take that steam and turn it into electricity. Turbines take that steam and turn it into electricity. There are a total of 81 turbines in the geysers facility. There are 81 turbines in the geysers facility. I'm trying to find another turbine facility here. Right here. Here's another turbine facility right there. Alongside these roadways are PVC pipes carrying the steam back to the turbine facility. Here the steam is filtering all the gunk and grime, meaning sand and gravel out of the steam, taking the steam over here to the turbines to generate electricity. 81 turbines in this facility, all over this area. This is Sonoma County. This is Sonoma County, California. Okay, wine country. 81 turbines generating the electricity here. And each one of these earthquakes is where a underground hole in the ground, man-made hole in the ground, carrying steam from the volcano. That's why we have earthquakes here. This earthquake, for example, is a 1.7 tremor. Up here to the north, this is a 1.0 tremor here. Down here is a 1.0 tremor here. This earthquake here is a 1.4 tremor. Yes, we have 1.0s to 1.9s. We have microquakes here. We also have some minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9, and occasionally you will see a 3.0, 3.9 earthquake. And yes, this year we've had one 4.5 earthquake here in the geysers facility. That's what happens here. There's a geothermal power plant north of Reno. There's one over in Southern California, just over by Ridgecrest. There's another one actually just north of Ridgecrest in the Coza Volcanic Facility. There's another one down in the Salton Sea as well. Okay, that's what's going on. Ridgequake is talking about 1.2 tremor in Western Turkey. All kinds of tremors there. All kinds of tremors. Over in northwestern Turkey, we have 100 earthquakes. 100 earthquakes almost every day, sometimes even more than that. All the time. All the time, guys. In the southern Cascade subduction zone region down here, we have a place that's called the Triple Junction, where you see the Cascade subduction zone connecting with the Gorda Escarpment here. It runs away from the coast out to the west into the Pacific Ocean. Over here on the Gorda Escarpment, we have an earthquake. This is a 3.5 small earthquake here. This is just west of the Triple Junction. Over here on the eastern side, the San Andreas Fault is here. The San Andreas Fault joins at the Triple Junction with the Cascadia and the Gorda Escarpment. Here on the San Andreas Fault, we have a 1.9 2.0 earthquake. Then the San Andreas Fault runs all the way through California. Runs all the way down here to the west side of San Francisco Bay. West side of San Francisco Bay goes over here to Pacifica, where we have this earthquake at Pacifica, the San Andreas Fault. Then the San Andreas Fault continues over here, down here into California. Here, San Ardo, 1.6 tremor on the San Andreas Fault. All the way down here in California, Southern California here, the San Andreas Fault. Again, they're not showing all the earthquakes, yet USGS said on that post I showed you and talked to you about, they said they always post all the earthquakes that they can find. Really? They're certainly not doing this here in Southern California. They're not doing it in LA. They're not doing it in San Diego. They're certainly not doing it in the Imperial Valley. They're not showing everything going on, ever. Not ever. Again, I'm going to ask you if you have any earthquake or any questions. Ridgequake is also reporting a 1.6 tremor over at Mammoth Lake, Mammoth Mountain. Mammoth Mountain, guys. Mammoth Mountain is basically closed because of snow. They've had blizzard conditions. By the way, Wisconsin, some places in Wisconsin have been buried by blizzards ongoing. High winds and heavy snow. Blizzard conditions in Wisconsin. Parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Lake effect snow. Ongoing. All of you in those areas should be very wary about heavy snow and colder temperatures. That's going to be ongoing all the rest of this week. Be safe out there. We're going to talk more about earthquakes and weather tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to end this program, but before I do that, I want to share a scripture with you. I'm going into the New Testament book of Acts. Acts chapter 9, verses 4, 5, and 6. And he fell to the earth and heard a voice, saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecute thou me? He said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And he, trembling and astonished, said, Lord, What wilt thou have me do? What wilt thou, Lord, have me do? What did the Lord tell Saul to do? He told Saul, arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. What is our responsibility to Jesus Christ? This past Thursday, we celebrated Christ's birth. What does Christ want us to do? Preach the gospel. Tell our families, tell our friends about the Lord Jesus Christ. Let them know about our Savior. Let them know about what the Savior asks us to do. Obey his commandments. Repent and be baptized. And return to him. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. We appreciate you very much. May God bless you with his Spirit. May he turn you into a God-fearing person if you're not already. The Lord loves you. He cares for you. I know that for a fact. He cares for me. I'm here to testify about it. My buddy Demon Catman, who is a member of our program here and one of our mods, is telling you also about how you can support our program. So far tonight, we've not had any super chats. Guys, one other way you can help our program grow and keep this program on the air is donating to our program. We have two Venmo, or actually, the Venmo location does not work, but we have our two PayPal locations. They work. Please, guys, if you want to help support this program, donate to our PayPal locations here. Also, you see our email address. Go to our email address. Give us comments, give us questions, give us ideas what you want to see here on our program. Our address is rltnspdema@gmail.com. You see our post box here, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. Send us cards and letters. We've got a few cards and letters during the Christmas holidays. We'd love to have more. In your letters or your cards, you can give us donations. We'd appreciate that as well. Thank you for that. God bless you for helping our program grow, helping our program stay on air. We greatly appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I want to thank all of those who also sent us Christmas presents. God bless you all. God bless you all. We love you dearly. We love you dearly. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for thinking about us. And also, we want to thank you for helping us be whole, helping us spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. God be with you now in everything you do. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Take care. God bless.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp. inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright.